Don't interfere with others' karma. You will regret it. Welcome back, everyone, to Mind Podcast. Do not interfere with the karma of others. People often say that if you don't hit the wall, you won't look back. Sometimes to grow, we have to crash into our own walls. Destiny grants different gifts to each person, meaning we all have our own life problems, destinies, and life trajectories. If you observe closely, you will see that it's not difficult to discover that everything in this world leaves traces. Some people use self-discipline to achieve freedom and a perfect life, while others give up on themselves and let their lives descend into chaos. This journey through life, whether it leads to peaks or dangerous shallows, whether it's a smooth path or fraught with hardships, you have to walk it on your own. Only by overcoming challenges on your own can you avoid repeating the same mistakes next time. Saving oneself is hard enough. Living for someone else is even harder. It's best to respect others' destinies, be calm about their karma, and live your own life well. When you try to shoulder someone else's destiny, they will still follow their own path, while you get trapped in negative emotions. Everything in this world has causes and effects. The cycle of karma may seem mysterious and elusive, but every choice and turn in our lives intertwine and lead to different outcomes. Everyone is the driver of their own life, sowing seeds for themselves and reaping their own results. You constantly try to interfere with others' karma and change their lives. Not only will you fail, but you will also disrupt the karmic cycle, affecting both them and yourself. No one likes others meddling in their lives and dictating their actions. Therefore, let others go through their storms and bear the karmic consequences themselves. Karma is a law where all your actions, emotions, and thoughts will come back to you in some way. Karma affects your body, emotions, thoughts, and external relationships. It influences you unconsciously, making it impossible to avoid the karma you have to repay. Once you understand that everyone has their own karma, stop interfering in others' lives. Sometimes you might not be able to resist the urge to teach someone a lesson and demand they change, but you forget that habits are hard to change. Don't unconsciously shoulder others' destinies. In minor cases, it may cause you unhappiness. In severe cases, it can lead to trouble and push you into difficult situations. Even if it's family or friends, your well-intentioned persuasion might not mean anything to them, let alone strangers passing by. No matter how hard you try, it may be in vain. What you see as timely help may just be a fleeting breeze to others. Moreover, when you intervene in others' lives, you will spend a lot of time, effort, and even money. Sometimes you won't even receive gratitude, and might even be disregarded by the other person. In the end, others will still follow their own paths, while you get trapped in negative emotions after bearing their destiny, unable to escape for a long time. This is the consequence of deeply interfering with others' karma. More than 300 years ago, there was a young man named Zhou Wu living in a poor rural area of China. Unwilling to submit to poverty, Zhou Wu packed his bags and went to the city, taking on various jobs. As time passed, Zhou Wu turned 35. Through his diligence and honesty, he became a wealthy merchant, amassing a large fortune. He not only owned a grand house and enjoyed all kinds of delicacies, but also had many beautiful women around him. Yet at that moment, he felt lost and lonely to the core. He knew this wasn't the life meant for him. He set aside his work and went to the mountains, seeking peace in a secluded place. There, he met a reclusive Taoist master who had never accepted disciples, but, for some reason, agreed to take him in. The master taught him meditation, philosophy, and even the mysteries of the universe, humanity, and nature. Zhou Wu felt he had touched upon a profound truth, feeling peaceful and happy within. After a period of studying with the master, Zhou Wu bade farewell to his teacher, returned home, handed over all his business and assets, and found a small house in the mountains to meditate and contemplate. He discovered he had a talent for herbs, so he began studying medicinal plants. One day, his hands suddenly became hot. Frightened and unsure what to do, he returned to ask his teacher. Master told him that he had seen this ability in him long ago and advised him to harness energy from the universe to heal others without saying more. Still doubting his ability, Zhou Wu only treated himself and not others. Then, a mother and child in the village fell ill with smallpox. Shunned by the villagers, and barely clinging to life. Zhou decided to treat them, and surprisingly, using the power of his hands combined with the herbs he had found, the mother and child recovered from the illness. From then on, Zhou became passionate about improving his healing method. He could cure even the most severe diseases, and many disciples from far and wide came to learn from him. His reputation spread, and he was invited to the royal court to treat the emperor for a condition that Zhou had successfully cured in many others. He went to the capital with his 17-year-old disciple, Bin Jiang. However, despite all his efforts, the emperor's condition worsened. Zhou was punished, stripped of his titles, and banned from practicing medicine. He returned to the mountains to ask his teacher, who remained silent. Zhou quietly returned to his hometown, living a normal life, always pondering why he had failed. Many years later, Bin Jiang used Zhou's method to successfully cure the emperor. By that time, Zhou was already old and had experienced many painful years. Meeting his teacher again, the master explained that the emperor at that time was repaying karma, and Zhou was not the right person to cure him, nor was it the right time. Zhou finally understood the greatest lesson of his life. The Taoist master was none other than me. Zhou was a very close associate of mine in this life, carrying with him a lesson from over 3 centuries ago. I believe he will advance further on the path of spiritual practice and healing in this life. In July 2021, I organized a quantum connection hypnosis course. One of the students, from a northern province, insisted on joining my group during practice sessions, saying that their spiritual teacher wanted them to be in my group because they needed my guidance. During the practice sessions, they couldn't hypnotize anyone, nor could anyone hypnotize them. At lunchtime, they sent me a worried and disappointed message. I comforted and encouraged them, promising to conduct a hypnosis session for them. They wept when they heard my words. Later, they confided that they had once been awakened to a powerful healing ability through their hands. They had healed many people for free, even arranging accommodation for patients. After some time, they were attacked by pain and fear, leading to a state of panic and loss of confidence. They had stopped healing for a few years and had come to my course seeking a way out. I halted the hypnosis practice, guiding everyone into a meditative state to connect. We identified 3 spirits related to their problems. The first spirit appeared as a monk. In a previous life, they had been the monk's disciple, but stole a secret method to practice on their own, which failed due to the lack of a teacher's guidance. The rest of their life was spent in powerlessness and torment. The second spirit was a python they had hunted and beheaded in a previous life. This python had cultivated in a mountain cave for many years. The spirit had followed the friend they healed in this life, making her ill. When they healed her, the python spirit transferred to them, seeking revenge. The third spirit, shapeless and dark, was from a child they had healed 3 times, aware of being possessed by a spirit, but unable to understand why or how to deal with it. During the session, we invited all 3 spirits to receive sincere repentance, healing, and liberation. After recounting these 2 stories, I remembered 4 things even Buddha could not do. Wisdom cannot be given, the true Dharma cannot be expressed, karma cannot be borne by another, and without a connection, one cannot be enlightened. My past life disciple, Zhou, and my current student both lacked the necessary connection to help those patients, leading one to lose his career and the other to fall ill after healing others. They violated a crucial principle of karma. Do not interfere with others' karma. Karma is a law where all your actions, emotions, and thoughts will come back to you in some way. Karma affects your body, emotions, thoughts, and external relationships, influencing you unconsciously and making it impossible to avoid the karma you have to repay. The karma you are conscious of and can choose is the karma you can overcome without harm. The things you least want are often brought by karma, and the moments when you are most careless are when karma strikes. Karma is an energy imprinted on the soul. When descending to earth, the soul must use karmic energy to create the energy field of the physical human. Therefore, everyone has karma, whether an ordinary person or a saint. The only difference is that when karma comes, saints do not suffer. Karma is not a punishment because there is no punisher and no punished. Some life examples. A child walks carelessly and falls. An adult quickly lifts the child and scolds the ground or the brick. Giving money to beggars who are still healthy and clear-minded. Doing charity that isn't emergency relief but only focuses on providing necessities. Giving money to addicts or gamblers, hoping it will be the last time they fall into vice. Or a healer, making the person believe that they are the savior of others' suffering. Always ready to help those in need. Guiding the person to forgive others without pointing out that they too have faults, whether in this life or a previous one. Seeing the person affected by a spirit, trying every way to liberate the spirit without considering the karma between the person and the spirit. Liberating the spirit without healing it, focusing only on healing the person without understanding the root cause or what the person needs to change. These are common mistakes among those who have developed healing abilities but still lack wisdom and experience. Such individuals are often awakened to healing abilities, possessing love and compassion for the sick. When they encounter them, they cannot refuse and try every way to help them, seeing it as their responsibility. However, everything has its limits, and going too far leads to disaster. You can offer reasonable suggestions out of concern for others, but remember there is a stopping point. People say that advice is something the wise do not need, and fools do not listen to. When you realize you are drifting away from some people and can no longer connect, it is not because of the distance in time or space, but because of your thoughts. Let go of the need to always help others and learn to respect their destinies. This does not mean becoming cold or indifferent to good and evil in the world. However, our suggestions and opinions should be respected and used at the right time. We should not impose them on others or try to change anyone's mind. In the book The Shadow Thief, there is a passage that says you cannot interfere in others' lives, even if it is for their own good. You and I are not saviors and cannot save everyone. If someone has made wrong choices, they must bear the consequences and learn to overcome them. Life is short, so it's better to improve yourself and do your work well. This is not only respecting others' destinies, but also a way to protect yourself. Why can some people intervene in others' lives? If a person has accumulated virtue, when heavy karma strikes, they will be helped by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who will block the karma, allowing them to practice peacefully, because it is known that they will do great merit for Buddhism and sentient beings. Karma is not limited to one person but is interconnected. When a true practitioner is in trouble, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and heavenly beings have the responsibility to save them. Although they are responsible for saving sentient beings, they still base it on the virtue of the practitioner. If they see that the person's heart is aligned with the Dharma, then their karma is that in the future, they will do great merit for sentient beings. Even though they haven't achieved anything yet, these beings see their humble, compassionate, intelligent, and determined nature and know that this person will surely do much good for the world later. Therefore, they help by temporarily blocking the old karma, allowing the person to have a chance to practice and do good deeds. Gradually, this person will make up for the past karma. This is like borrowing money from a bank. They assess your repayment ability and business effectiveness to see if you can repay the principal and interest. In this case, we borrow others' money or the bank's, and to borrow, we must have the ability to repay and prove effective business method. We are borrowing merit from the bodhisattvas. They assess our ability to practice and then lend us merit. In fact, at that moment, we don't have enough merit, which is called borrowing merit. It is an intervention method. If a person has accumulated virtue, when heavy karma strikes, they will be helped by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who will block the karma, allowing them to practice peacefully, because it is known that they will do great merit for Buddhism and sentient beings. After praying, if we get through a calamity, remember that if we do great merit in the following year, we won't see any good results because we are repaying the previous year's calamity borrowed from the Bodhisattvas and Buddhas. This is reasonable and fair. We understand borrowing money from a bank to understand borrowing merit from the Bodhisattva. That is why sometimes we don't understand how karma is resolved. How do you know if you are interfering with others' karma? During a trip to Bangalore, India, in December 2018, guided by Master Vijay, a student stood up and asked the teacher, "I know a pregnant woman whose fetus has health problems, and she's afraid it might be a stillbirth. So I placed my hands to heal her and keep the baby. Did I interfere with their karma?" The teacher replied, "On a highway from a distance, you see a fast-moving truck and a puppy running into the road. What would you do? Would you move the puppy to a safer place to prevent it from being hit? Or would you stand still and do nothing? Have you ever thought that the puppy might be trying its hardest to cross the road and you just prevented it from reincarnating into a human? In this case, you must be able to communicate with the puppy and ask if it wants to live. If it wants to live, you move it away. If it wants to die, you do nothing. Similarly, as a therapist, you should only intervene when you receive a very clear and certain guidance in your heart that this is a case where intervention is needed. If not, do nothing. To receive correct guidance, you must be very conscious in your spiritual practice. This state can only be reached through serious, regular, and continuous meditation. You need to understand that the energy field of karma is a unified system. Blindly healing one aspect of karma will affect the other aspects of the entire karmic energy field. We need to understand the root cause of all illnesses and ailments we face. You can heal yourself without needing others' help to intervene. For example, Jenny has nearsightedness. She seeks help from someone to treat her vision impairment. Her eyesight improves, and she enjoys perfect vision. However, in her life, she becomes less successful in her studies, loses a scholarship for studying abroad, and cannot enroll in a good university in her country. She drops out of school, and her fate changes. Healing is not about removing one problem in the karmic energy field, but working with the entirety of that field. When you remove a disease, it will affect the entire karma person. In meditation, you can completely heal yourself and understand the lesson you need to learn, why you face that issue. What happens when we interfere with others' karma? For example, Johnny has a headache. I am a meditation practitioner with a lot of energy. I place my hands to heal him. What will happen? He has a headache because he has a lesson to learn. When we intervene, the lesson is skipped, so he will have to learn it later with more significant challenges in the future, or a new life because he chose the shortcut by allowing the intervention. Healing like this is futile. It leads to degeneration without progress. When a therapist removes negative energy from a client, they inadvertently throw that negative energy somewhere on earth, in a space or into an object. This energy will distort the energy field of the space or object it's thrown into. According to the law of karma, when a therapist takes a patient's energy and discards it somewhere, that energy will return to the person who helped. I have seen many healers receive poor outcomes in their lives. So how should we help those who are ill? You can only intervene with 10% of their problem's energy. You cannot heal them 100%. Otherwise, they will become dependent on you. Guide them to self-heal. If you can heal someone, they can also heal themselves. Teach them to meditate, for instance, and instruct them about the law of karma. Why do they face that problem? They will realize their lesson and get through that karma. You only support them. Each of us must take responsibility for what we have done in this life and even in past lives. You can either advise them to find the root cause of the problem and the lesson they need to learn, or encourage them to meditate and heal themselves. When practicing meditation, we can transform the negative energies within ourselves rather than throwing them outside, affecting the environment and those around us. My teacher once told us a true story about his mother. My mother had breast cancer. When the family found out, everyone was shocked. My older brother is a doctor and capable of taking care of her, but the family wanted to hear my opinion. At that time, I was in the United States. The whole family wanted me to return to hear what I had to say. I came home, examined my mother's condition, and said it was nothing serious. Family was shocked again. I told my mother that she was fortunate. If she healed herself, she would become an enlightened person. If she had to leave her physical body, that was also okay. She could choose one of two things. Either she would heal herself, learn her lesson, and become enlightened, or she could go to the hospital, undergo surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation therapy. live a few more years without learning any lesson, and then the disease would return in her next life. It was her choice. My father cried, my sister cried, and my mother was strong. My mother said, either way, I'm going to die, so I choose enlightenment by self-healing through meditation. In the following 5 months, my mother meditated for 5 to 6 hours every day. She realized that her lesson was that she had lacked self-love and self-acceptance for many years. After that, her breast cancer disappeared. Through this experience, she had a chance to understand her lesson, and my mother went everywhere to share how she had healed her breast cancer through meditation.